Hey everyone, this is Mike,
Hey, and this is Josh.
and we are Real Dead. And today, Josh, we're kind of going back a year ago, last November. It was a really cool situation where you and
Yep.
your wife Michelle and me and Anthony, we were all at a convention, and we
Yeah.
got to see this movie in the theater. But it was
Yep.
Thanksgiving.
Yes.
1 year later, kind of a retrospective on it. Did it hold up? Did it not? About 3 or 4 days ago, me and my wife watched it again. She had never seen it before. That's the only second time I've seen it. And I was pleasantly surprised that it held up, in my opinion. If
Yeah.
not, I think I liked it better this time than I did the first time.
Yeah. Me and my wife watched it last night together, and we both have not watched it since we saw it in the theater, a year ago. And yeah, pleasantly surprised. The kills can be pretty brutal. I like most of the special effects. I think it's pretty good. I like the reveal of the killer. I like I just like a lot about this movie. I think it's just a fun slasher, and we get a cool new slasher character, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Um,
and I get that some people may not like this because it's a little too campy for them. It's a little too 80ish for them, but I like that. I like the 80
but
and
it's
90 slashers.
but it's not a bad movie. I don't think any way you look at it, it's not a bad movie. You know what I mean?
No,
In
but
my
I
opinion.
laughed at it. And a lot of horror movies, I don't laugh at it, but I did laugh at this. So I get that part. With some people, if you're like serious horror movies, you may not like this because some of it to me is laughable, but it's a good thing for me. I don't know.
It doesn't do anything egregious. I mean, not that we have a lot of history with any of these characters or anything. You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
looking at you, Halloween Ends, but I just, I think there's only like I think one kill where I'm like where he twists that one guy's neck totally around. Like, what's this guy, Jason Voorhees? Like he doesn't have a normal man doesn't have the strength to just grab someone's neck like this and just twist it all the way around backwards. You know what I mean? So especially a guy of average size like this killer, that's one thing also I like about this killer. It's an everyman killer. It could be anybody. That's what
Yeah.
I like about it. It's kind of like Ghostface. It could be anybody. It's not like 6'4", 250 pounds. You know what I mean? So
So if it's a year later and you're just now watching this, listen, this is spoilers all in here.
oh
So
yeah,
you might
this
as
is
well
all
go ahead and click
spoilers.
off, come back and watch it, and then come back and watch this because we're gonna tell you right off the bat who the killer is
Yep.
probably, and it, it's I, yeah. So it's spoilers all in here, right?
Right. Well, let's just get to it then. So the
Okay.
killer is the sheriff, played by Patrick Dempsey, who I think does a really good job. Once he's revealed, I like how it's revealed, and I like how she remembers the main final girl. Her name's Jessica, who she does a really good job in this movie. I feel, and they also do a really good job of giving you red herrings of like who it could be. Because I know in the first time we watched it, Mike, you thought it was her ex boyfriend Bobby, who got his
Yeah,
arm
both.
broke.
That's who my wife thought too. So you got two boyfriends in here that you're wondering if they're the killers,
Yep.
and then you got the sheriff kind of is well maybe he's the killer, or
Right.
even the sheriff's deputy who they show at the very beginning. You're like, was this guy maybe the killer? You know?
Right, right, right. Yep. And they also want you to think that, um, well, I think, yeah, those are the main people they want you to think is the killer for sure. But yeah, it's just a really cool take how she remembers things that he said and then that's how she figures out that he's the killer or whatever. But there are, I did talk to our friend and fellow, he's on here quite a bit, friend Gregory, and he thinks there actually is another killer that we didn't find out about because he said some of the stuff like how did it play out this way if he didn't have help, and that could be maybe we'll learn that in the next movie, which would be a cool thing because it would be a Scream type thing, but like I think that would be cool because then you would have another reveal, Mike. Like we'd
Yeah.
have another reveal of who it was, so it could still be like it's the sheriff who's doing the killing, but them have a second reveal would be a shocking thing, and I think they could go that way, which I would think would be pretty cool. I think the opening of this movie is really neat, Mike. The whole Black Friday. I experienced Black Friday before. Me and my cousin used to go out. like 2013, 14. So probably not in like the prime of it, you know, and like I think the 2000s was like the prime part. But it gets nutty, man. People are nuts over stuff, and like I've never been like that. We just went out just to kind of have fun and walk around and see the craziness. But these people are going nuts over a free toaster or a free waffle maker, right, Mike?
Yeah, and to me, the beginning of this, you know, a lot of people like may not like it right off the bat, but it's to me, it's kind of stealing a little bit from Krampus. The whole beginning of it, like the fight scene and stuff like that. But it's like a knockoff Walmart, and yeah, I mean, people are going crazy over stuff, and these teenagers are trying to get in there and get a new phone, and I can see that because they think they got to have their phone with them. But yeah, when the window starts cracking on that glass front door and the crowd's coming in, you know, oh shit, hell's getting ready to break loose.
Yeah, I mean, 3 people die in this movie, like what, 10 minutes in, Mike?
Yeah, probably less than that. Yeah.
Yeah. Guy gets crushed. A woman gets a brutal hit to the head with a shopping cart, and then part of her skull gets ripped off. Oh,
right.
That's brutal, Mike. And then another guy cuts his like jugular on the door, which is funny. And as he's bleeding out, he's still trying to grab this waffle maker.
So the manager of the store, that's his wife that gets killed, who also is the one at the end that you find out had an affair with the sheriff and is pregnant.
She's pregnant, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's kind of the whole synopsis on why he kills these people. Is it's revenge for this. And one of the teenagers there, I think his name was Evan. He's the one that videoed all this stuff and put it on social media, and it went viral. And
that's how he knew who to get revenge on,
right?
Because he's seen them all in the video. Yep. Also, though, from a rewatch, is I realized that when he was interviewing people for information from what they saw, he was using that to take further revenge on other people that were there.
Yeah.
Because when they were like, hey, this person was here and this person was here, and he goes, oh, we didn't know that. Well, and then guess what? Those 2 people got killed next, which is an awesome scene that was in the trailer, the original trailer from way back when it was part of Grindhouse, was a girl, a cheerleader jumping on a trampoline with like a knife poking up. This wasn't as brutal as that, as the trailer originally, but this one was. I mean, she was jumping on that thing, and then it went through her foot and all this. It was crazy. And then another lady gets cut in half by a garbage can.
Yeah, the car runs, pins her between a dumpster and that, and then her body's cut in half. Then the killer takes the top half of her or bottom half of her body, puts it up on the sign of the knockoff Buy Right Walmart, whatever it's called. What was it called? The name of the store?
Yeah, I think it's Buy Right or Right.
Buy Right, yeah.
Right.
It's just like a knockoff Walmart.
Yeah. Well, but that lady was pretty brutal in the opening scene. So some of these people you don't really.
She was definitely a bitch. She was definitely.
Yeah, like you're like, man, do I really feel bad for these people because they're jerks? And like,
so then you had also a security guard. Him and he had a white security guard and African American man that were out front trying to hold the crowd back with the white security guard kind of just like dissed the black guy and left him there by himself.
Yeah, he said,
basically went and hid and he hid from it. That poor guy's the one that got killed inside.
Yep.
And then the white guy, though, his revenge later on was the killer came back. It was a pretty damn good kill where he cuts his head off, basically.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome. But like
he gave him with a carving knife in the stomach, I think, first, and then cuts his head off.
Yeah, and then he hey, at least the killer's not like total monster. He did feed the guy's cat before he left.
Yeah, as soon as my wife saw him walking towards the cat, she's like, I'm turning this off if he kills the cat. And I was like, you got to watch, Michelle. And then she's like, okay, I can keep watching.
Yeah, he's not a total monster. Yeah. So, yeah. Also, I think something that we should talk about, which is I like when movies do this because it's the day we live in, you know? The killer utilizes social media to play mind tricks on the kids, the police, and it basically, he live streams a lot of things, which is really cool. And then they try to pinpoint it. But you learn later he's got like his own like servers and all this stuff in his own hideout. So like it's hard to pinpoint it and stuff or whatever.
Well, the whole thing about Thanksgiving, traditional Thanksgiving, you think about the family meal at home. You got the nice table and the setup. Well, as he's killing these people, his revenge,
Yep.
he's putting their body parts or part of them at this
the
dinner table.
And he's
And
got
it's pretty wild, and he's letting them see it.
And he's got names, so like you can see who's going to be invited to this table.
Yeah, so the people that are potentially going to get killed, they see their name on there, like, well, he's coming after me next, or whoever it is coming after me next.
It's wild. Also, he does another kill that I think is funny is where he takes the corn to eat corn and he stucks it in this girl's ears. Man,
yeah, but what was even killer on that was, I mean, I've seen it before in other movies, is he cuts the saw on the table saw and throws her on the table saw. And then her boyfriend grabs her. I mean, and this is kind of a realistic thing. The boyfriend grabs her off and he's like, what do I do? What do I do? And he's yelling that back to
her guts are like hanging out of her.
Yeah, her guts are out. You're like, dude, there's nothing you can do. But he's in shock. He's like, what do I do? What do I do? Dude, she's dead. You know?
And I like the boyfriend. His name's Scuba. He's like another jock. Oh, that's another thing I want to get to real quick before we get to that. This movie did it right. Halloween Ends. This is what you should have done. They have jocks, people that normally in society is like arrogant and jerks. One of them is like that. His name's Evan. He's a real a-hole.
Yeah.
But the other one, Scuba, he's likable. He's a likable jock guy. They have the jocks. They have the popular people. This is, also, Scuba, very smart. Him and Jessica go to this guy that they know they have guns, and they arm themselves. Now, they don't know how to use the gun properly, but they at least arm themselves. And in horror movies, you hardly ever see that. Maybe you see Sydney now, after all these movies, she like is just shooting doorways and shit. She don't care. But like in horror movies, you don't see people arm themselves. And it's like, okay, this is smart of you, Scuba.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. There's, but you said it earlier, the cheerleader jumping up and down on the trampoline that the knife comes up underneath or whatever, the sword or whatever. That's pretty gruesome. I was like, oh no, because she's initially showing her rear end to the guy, and then he gets his head twisted around 180, and then she, all of a sudden the knives start coming up underneath her, and she's jumping up on her. I'd never seen that before. I was like, God, that's a unique kill to me. I mean,
did you ever see the original trailer for this, Mike?
I did go back and see it before I went and saw the movie, and yeah, this is kind of this was I think not really a serious trailer many years ago, but they finally turned it into a movie.
Well, in the original trailer, the cheerleader is doing splits on the trampoline and lands on the nut. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, at least they didn't go that bad. Now listen, I will say this movie does borrow from other slashers, which is fine. That doesn't bother me. It definitely has like a Scream feel to it. It definitely has some I Know What You Did Last Summer type, especially that parade where they're looking around and all those different John Carver masks. That is totally I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Where that's also typical Macy's parade. Like, I mean, I know it's a small town, but it's, this is the hometown of John Carver, right? Thanksgiving's supposed to start there. You know what I mean by that. But they're having the Macy's parade there. I mean, their small town parade. And I love that scene though. I think it's hilarious. You got some really cool kills there.
Oh yeah.
Number one, you got this big pole that catapults in through a windshield and impales a guy in
the back of the head, and it comes out the front, and then like his granddaughters
are in the front. Kids are riding in the car with him. See it? I mean, and they threw a bomb in there and like we're killing some kids or somebody, didn't they?
Didn't they throw a bomb? Was a flashbang grenade.
Yeah, flashbang.
Yeah.
So then you think John Carver's the whole, the killer with the John Carver mask, the pilgrim mask. And then all of a sudden it's a clown. A clown comes out, has a clown outfit on, I mean,
which I like that.
Yeah, that was different. My wife's like, well, now I don't know. I thought it was always the guys that wore John Carver masks. I was like, well, no, you never know. But then one of my favorite kills is the guy walking around with the turkey outfit on, and he gets his head cut off. And that to me is so damn funny. I started laughing. My wife started laughing when it happened too, because you get two things of blood squirting up. And it's so damn funny. I mean, I did not see that. I remember seeing the original, they did it, and I kind of was waiting for that, but I was like, God, that was funny.
I mean, to me, one of the most brutal kills in this movie is he cooks a woman alive like a turkey. And he paints butter on her. Oh God.
When he sticks that temp thing in her. And
That's
then when she's done, it pops out. That's hilarious.
That's brutal, Mike. I mean, God.
Now, to me, one of my favorite kills, and it is very brutal.
Oh yeah,
and he deserved it. Is Evan?
Yeah.
Evan the jock that's an asshole the whole time.
Yep.
And he sticks his head down on the plate on the table, and then takes this like meat tenderizer, like a meat tenderizer hammer, and just pounds. And then you see his head just like split.
Oh man,
it sounds like it's hitting a watermelon or a cantaloupe, and then you see his brain start coming out. I mean, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, he's kind of like the typical jock in like horror movies where he's like, "Let's just kick this guy's ass, man."
He wanted to still play the football game after somebody got killed. I mean, he's like, "What? We can't play the football game?" And they're like, "Dude, somebody just died." And he's like, "Oh, it's my senior year," you know.
Yeah, and he's like, he told that Scoop guy, he's like, "Let's just go kick this guy's ass, man. We got him." It's like, it's like typical. But yeah, I think I think the characters are likable. So like when they die, you're like, oh man, this sucks, So the main ones. And also a thing that's different about this killer is he had like a dart gun that he put people to sleep with, so it was easier to capture him, which, I mean, that makes total sense. I mean, you know what I mean? And because he wanted to set up something. It wasn't all just about killing everybody. He wanted people set up for this family Thanksgiving table thing. So there was that. So I thought it had I think it had a double twist in my opinion at the end. And I'll talk about that real quick. When he reveals that he is the killer to this girl, and he's like, well, you're going to die. Like he locks the door. So like they're in this office, just them two. And all of a sudden she's like, says something to him. And he realizes that there was evidence all over his desk. And one of the evidence things was a phone. She was live streaming him confessing to all this stuff.
She picked up on his shoe. They showed down his shoes too. His shoes had some like something on it that was part of outside, and she knew. She kind of put that back to the fence where he about got her at the fence.
Right. So so yeah, and he was actually going to frame Bobby. He dressed up Bobby like John Carver. And so yeah, I thought it was a cool like double twist because I didn't think that she was live streaming that. You wouldn't have not known that until she revealed it, which was really cool. And then he knew, like, well, I'm cooked. Everybody knows. I mean, because you saw people putting emojis, like people were watching it live. Yep. So I thought that was cool. Also, we don't know if he's dead or not. Like, you don't know that. They showed a fireman with a mask on, kind of like, like, so you don't know if that was him walking out. But he's still alive, obviously. And then they kind of do a Friday the 13th where a jump scare at the end where she's having a dream. But they did at least show that it was a dream and didn't just end the movie like Friday the 13th did, So
have you heard, are they in the process of doing another one, or does it just talk about it?
I think, I don't know, man. I hope they are. I was hoping to get one this year, but
it definitely happened this year.
No, but they should definitely shoot for next year. I mean, why it's, still, fresh. I mean, I'm going to give, I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about, but I'd like to give a new rating to this. I don't know what my old rating was. I can't remember, but I want to give this an 8 out of 10, man. I think it held up great. It's a fun slasher. We have a fun slasher now for Thanksgiving. I know there's other ones like some turkey that kills people and stuff, but this is actually a good movie. So I would say, it's a good one.
I'd give it a 7.5 out of 8, 7.5 to 8 out of 10. To me, it's this is the question, I guess, kind of maybe the thumbnail or something at the beginning we may ask is, do you think this is an instant classic? I kind of do now. This is my Thanksgiving. We've really never had nothing at Thanksgiving, but this is my Thanksgiving movie now. I'm going to watch it every year around Thanksgiving, just like I watch Halloween at Halloween or Trick or Treat at Halloween.
Or Krampus at Christmas.
Yeah, Krampus. Also,
Christmas.
Black Christmas. There's quite a few Christmas movies now. I think the new Terrifier is going to be considered a Christmas horror movie because that'll be a big thing. But I think this one's a good Thanksgiving, and I'm really looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, me too. Can't wait to see what they do. I did take a tally on kills. I'll just say them real quick. it's 13 is what I counted. If somebody else counts more, let me know in the comments. But I have 13, and I'm counting the baby that was in the woman's stomach at the beginning who also died. So, yeah, I counted 13. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I got.
All right, so tell us what you think. Have you seen this before? Hopefully you have. If you're this far into the video, what'd you think about it? Was it too cheesy for you? Was it too campy for you? Did you like it? Do you want to see a second one? And how many killers do you think there is, and who could be the other killer? But
right.
Thank you guys for checking us out. Please like, comment, subscribe to Real Dead. Also, we got a new streaming platform. Josh, you want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah. I actually signed up for a new platform called Blue Sky, and I have Real Dead over there as our handle, just Real Dead.
Yes.
And
So
I'm making all
out.
about horror. I am on Twitter, but I have too much baggage on Twitter, so that's why I just went to this new platform and did that. So it's like I'm not going with
Fresh.
that. I'm not. I was gonna go with Instagram, but I just said let's just start fresh on this kind of newer platform. It's not super new, but let's try it. And I'm trying to get into the horror community on there, and there is one, so that's why I'm trying to get into it and have some fun over there on Blue Sky. So it's Real Dead, over there on Blue Sky.
Yeah, and I'm an old guy. We only got 40 some in our chat, but we do have a Facebook page too. And I know that's probably just for old people only, but hey, I'm old. So you can join us on there as well. But hit that notification bell so you can see videos. And hey, we don't care if it's, our channel is 365. It don't matter if it's January or if it's December.
Right.
We're going to be horror all year round. So
that's right.
Check us out. All right. Have a good one, Josh.
Yep. See you now. Bye.
All right. Bye.